This is the very day Prophet Uebert touches on culture. He spoke about SONA culture. He spoke about Zulu culture. You know, Zulu is one of the popular cultures in the whole of Africa, right? And he talked about the deepest secrets when it comes to culture, the truth. In fact, he revealed the truth about culture. And it is mind-boggling, and we need to watch this and learn from this. That's the only purpose. Let's go and watch what Prophet Uebert said about cultures. Let's go.
Produce the same species is only for humans and for other animals. But when it comes to angels, they can't increase in number. So since they can't increase in number, they've always been the same from creation past, eternity past. That means now they have a certain agenda, and the agenda is to bring out darkness, controlling from dark matter. If you understand dark matter and dark energy, they are almost 95% of what we have that control all this force of gravity you see, or rather the force of gravity you think you experience is not all there is. That's what they can measure. And then they realize there is something that is beyond this, that also pulls the planets into shape and into position. So what does the devil do to kind of proliferate the darkness, to make the darkness of value? What he has done when he realizes he has got few people, or rather manpower is small, or rather he cannot increase the number of fallen angels, what he has done was to get into what we call culture. Maybe you do not understand that there is a revelation, or rather the link between cult and culture. In order to produce a cult, you ought to produce a culture that people never run away from. I wish I could talk to somebody. The word cult itself was never evil. That's why English still has what we call the cult following. It's not negative. It simply means they are following and they are not leaving the man, or they are not leaving the woman, or they are not leaving the principle. So this principle has a cult following. But what happens with every cult, it creates a culture and people don't leave a culture. I wish I could talk to you. I need to get it to you so that, you see, last week we were, now I wanted to get in. So the culture, when it's developed, when people think that's my culture, see how we oppose all these people who are moving around, doing all this, shaking their body, especially their back. Have you ever looked into your own culture as an African? How you used to dance? No. I know I'm touching something, and I know you don't want me to deal with it because you are nervous now. Listen to me. Listen, we are opposing people twerking everywhere. What was your traditional dance? You oppose women for wearing short skirts. You just had one strip here, one strip there, and you walk nicely everywhere in your culture. Am I too much into this, or I can just leave it? Was that not your culture? All our traditional dance, mainly most of our traditional dance, are vulgar. A man dances here, a woman dances here, you meet in the... I touched you. I touched your culture now. I touched you. You are busy opposing other people's cultures. This is not godly. This is not cultural. This is not decent. That was you. Your mama. I go here. You don't want this. You don't want this smoke. I can produce more smoke. You don't want this. How is it so that you are okay with your traditional dance? Man of God, you do not understand. These women are gold diggers. You don't have the gold. Where are they digging? Just be open with yourself and tell yourself, I am broke. I can't afford this type of woman. Let me go to where I was going. I'm leaving this one alone. If any man tells you you're a gold digger, just tell them, you can't take care of. I don't know how it went there. Let me come back here. So what causes our culture to dance in a certain demonic, I put this in quotes, demonic way, that most of our songs that are in the culture are vulgar. And we are okay with it. But we think Generation Z has left our culture. If Generation Z is going to follow your culture, they have to wear one strip in front, one strip at the back. The breasts have to be out. And men too. One strip in front, strip at the back. Papa is ready to go. You still don't get what I'm trying to negotiate. I'm dealing with the issue of darkness. That the devil, knowing he has no manpower, or rather angel power, whatever you want to call it, or spirit power, what the devil has done is to influence culture. So you can't come out of a thing because you think it's cultural. It's the way we dance in our culture. So if reggae has some bit that is demonic, if we tell you this type of reggae is demonic, you say, but that's there. Because the devil, sit on them. See, because the devil, what he did when he realized that the angels are few and they are not increasing, he decided the only way a human being can change or can stick to one area of thought was to bring culture in. So it becomes culture raw. So every excuse you will give me, if I tell you to do something, you will say, culture raw. If a white man stands here and I tell them, you need to pay lobola, they will say, in our If we get to a point where we want to tell the truth now, I wish I had time and the energy to do this. Is lobola even necessary? Because in our culture, it is necessary. But the moment you say culture, we gotta go back to the whole culture and set it up and say, what did you used to do? In our rural area, a woman would be put in front of the old women, the elderly. And every year, they would check physically your virginity. Nowadays, they know it's a waste of time. They got the verdict. And the man comes and you flip in $70,000 lobola. Ooh, for what? I'm not talking about this. I'm just talking about culture. Why am I paying $70,000 for a second hand, sorry, 30 hand or 40? I don't hear nobody up there. Nobody. Ain't nobody saying to no preacher. Ain't nobody saying nothing to me. In the balcony, it's quiet. It's like a funeral up there. Now, the question then is, you got to look at your own neighbor. If they are too quiet, you got a suspect in your role. Shout, dark matter! Dark matter! Is it worth it? What are you paying for? Because it's our culture. I didn't say don't do it. I'm trying to tell you what is defining our lives is not the gospel, it's the culture. I know you're not with me. If you are angry as a woman or as a man with what I just said, you belong to the streets. And while I'm at it, let me just say that's good business. Because on the street is the only location where you can sell your product and go home with it. Anyway, you just heard what I said. I'm talking about mangoes here. I decree and declare somebody here, you will get into the gospel culture, not your culture, but gospel culture. Gospel culture. I'm about to finish. I'm about to finish. Nice. So, only when you get to a point of the Bible, that's when you can change and say, my culture is Bible culture. Let me ask you before I go anywhere. Being Shona and being Debele and being Zulu, you being Zulu, what percentage of you being Zulu is Christian? Am I still talking about dark matter? Yes, we're still in there. We're still in there. What percentage of Christian is inside you being Shona? Because the moment it suits your culture, you say, my culture. What percentage is Hausa inside you being Christian? What percentage is Christian in you being Setswana? What? You see how culture is indoctrinated us to a point where we do not understand what we are actually here for. So when the Bible says something, it can say anything as long as the culture goes against what the Bible is saying. I'm not going for the Bible. I go for the culture. But my parents said, but my Bible says, no, but your Bible doesn't contradict my culture. Sit down. So the enemy knows exactly how to kill you. The only way he can embed something in your culture, you will believe it. So he knows it. And how does he infiltrate your culture? Very simple. He can come here, put you in a place and bind, and you sit there. While you're sitting there, there are generals in every country. Listen, just as in the business world, there are economic generals in the business world. Key grabbers. People with dominance in that place. Stakeholders that are big in a certain location. And those stakeholders, if you do not rub their back, they won't even see you exist. They don't think you exist. In the realm of the spirit, there are also generals that if you don't talk to them, nothing happens. I don't know if you're hearing me. I don't know if you're hearing what I'm saying. That's why in the prophetic, there is a general. In the healing, there is generals. In teaching, there are generals. You got to talk to them before you talk to anybody. So they are door holders, knob holders, key holders. They won't allow you to enter. Now, in the realm of the spirit, this whole city can have people that when they speak, it just happens. Babalola came from the mountain and he was hungry. He went down. He says, can you make me this food, to his daughter? His daughter kept on running around. What about the food? I said, kept on running around, kept on jumping up and down. So, but I sent you. Who kept on jumping up? He said, why are you acting like you're mad? On the spot, she became mentally ill. Your own daughter. Say that. He made another arrangement to go to the same mountain. Say, God, I just said this. I did not mean that. Go say, go down. Speak again, that you'll be well. Imagine just saying it by accident. Let me say this by accident. Why are you acting like you're a millionaire?
It's happening, and Prophet Angel, how it started a whole conversation on cultures. It sparks a lot of conversation, right? People will see this and say what they want to say. Other people will see this and pass any other comment they want to pass, because it goes across the whole of Africa. And you know, this is how it started. It started from when he was preaching on dark matter and part 2, and talking about deep things. Like Prophet Angel is always about deep things, right? Unless you are not deep. And then he came back up to, all right, let's talk about something here. See the way we dress as Gen Zs and compare it to how, you know, other generations, how we built our culture over time, right? And then think about something here. Think about dancing. How people twerk in the clubs, twerk on social media and whatnot, you know, wherever they want to twerk. And then compare it to, you know, those days, right? Our culture here, my culture here, right? You know, when females are in their teenage, you know, they pass them over to adulthood or something like that. Ready, like giving them that kind of readiness to be able to marry. Then there are some rites that they go through, you know, their breasts will just be there, beads, a lot of beads around their waist, like a lot, I mean a lot of beads. And some beads around their neck, a lot of beads. So our culture is even known internationally for beads, like crazy beads. You can search on Google about that culture in Ghana, which has, you know, to do with a lot of beads and all of that. You see it. I won't even mention the culture, but you see it, right? And twerking and all of that, it came from off our cultures. And it makes sense. Like, unless you don't know all of these things, it makes a lot of sense, right? And so that is a catch right there. But then the main question is, all of these cultures, how many percent of the Christian values do we see in those cultures? And that's a big question that Prophet Angel was asking the day. So you answer that for your culture. I'll also answer that for my culture. Then you do that comparative analysis to see whether you value your culture that much, or you value, you are going to pay attention to the values of Christianity, right? These two things. Don't get me wrong. Prophet Angel is not lashing on the back of any culture. These just some very, very intelligent, you know, presentation and something to learn from. That is it. Not lashing on the backs on any culture here, right? So that is it. My name is Sodanis. I love to break down God's messages like this. Make sure to subscribe, share, like this video if you haven't done that already, and make sure to subscribe to the backup channel as well, which is the ZULU podcast backup. That one is full of messages, deep ones, right? Uncensored. So honestly, thank you for watching this one. I'm out. I'm out. So let's go get it.